And the lights go out and it's away we go. Russell holds on to the lead. Antonelli goes into third. Piastri's gone down to fourth. Albon goes off. Hulkenberg gains 2 places. Oh no! Lando Norris. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. Yes, it was the Canadian Grand Prix and oh my god, what a bore fest it was. Once again, another bore fest. I'll give it 5 out of 10, but I will give it 7 for the ending. Yes, it climaxed faster than Shannon Tweed back in the 90s. Oh my god, what an absolutely beautiful end to a Grand Prix, I have to admit. Beautiful. I could not have wished for any more.
But he's compromised and Norris can't fight his way by. We go to turn 1. No, he's ripped off the front wing. The McLarens collide. Lando Norris into the wall and out of the race. Chasing 4th place. The McLarens collide.
Anyway, so that was it. We had the race start. Russell did hold on to the lead. Antonelli went into 3rd position. Well done to Antonelli off the start line. Piastri slipped down to 4th place. Albon went off. In fact, he didn't just go off. He jumped over and over and over. I thought, maybe a bit of damage there. And Hulkenberg did gain 2 positions. Fantastic for him. So we accelerate forward now to lap 10. And the positions on lap 10 was George and Russell was still in the lead. I know, I was surprised as well. I was thinking that Verstappen was going to overtake him, but no, still in the lead on lap 10. Verstappen in 2nd. Antonelli, his teammate, fantastic result for Antonelli, I'll tell you. Was he 18 years old? 18 years, just think of the pressure of that. Mercedes, 18 years old, in 3rd position in the Grand Prix. Fantastic. 4th was Piastri. 5th was Lulu Hamilton. Oh my goodness. So we talk about Lulu Hamilton. Wait a minute. 6th was Fernando Alonso. Yes, Grandpa was up there in 6th position. Well done, Grandpa. Well done indeed. But yes, before we continue, let's talk about Lewis Hamilton. Unfortunately, he said in the interview afterwards, he was informed that he hit a groundhog. Yes. He's not exactly having a groundhog day, he's having a groundhog year. Because the same things keep happening with Lewis, don't they? Yes, it's not me, it's the car. Okay, he had some damage to the car, which I do believe amounted to 20 points of downforce. So Martin Brundle worked out. Yes, 20 points of downforce. I understand that. I appreciate that. I really do. But let's rewind a little bit. Let's rewind to Charles Leclerc going round the circuit, I can't remember which one it was, please forgive me, with the whole complete end fence of his wing missing. Remember that? I remember that, yes. And he was still doing very bloody well indeed. Yes, very bloody well indeed. So, yeah, how much longer is it going to be this from Lewis? It's car. And he felt so good in that interview, knowing that, oh, it was the car. He was like elated. He was like, yes, yeah. I did feel sorry for him because he said he's an animal lover and he was mortified that he'd hit this groundhog because obviously he's killed it. that groundhog is not now walking around. No, he's a dead groundhog. Yes, I'm sorry myself because I'm also an animal lover. I'm very, very sorry for the death of the groundhog. But, you know, in life, things happen like that. And it did for Hamilton. But as I say, it just seems to be, you know, excuses after excuses after excuses, you know. Yes, you've had a damaged car, I understand that, but lots of drivers go out with damaged cars and still manage to do pretty decently. I mean, you know, we'll get to where he finished at the end, so he didn't do too bad. But yes, anyway, we will continue. On lap 12, Lando Norris passed Fernando Alonso for P6. Oh my goodness, yes. Grandpa was passed by a younger man, and there's nothing you can say about that. Then on lap 12, Max came into the pits. And then there was over the radio to Albon saying there was a problem with his PU, and that's his power unit, which apparently they had in the previous race as well. So definitely something going on with their power units over at Williams. And of course, I think Williams have got the Mercedes engine. The plot thickens. The plot thickens. Yes, use Bisto as they used to say back in the day, but yes. Anyway, on to lap 14 then, and then Russell pitted, and then lap 16 Hamilton pitted, and then on lap 17 Piastri pits and goes for the hard tyre. Yes, because those original tyres weren't lasting very long in the race, I must admit. And on lap 29 Norris pitted from first position. He got into first place, yes. Unfortunately, I only had the highlights coverage as usual, and as it was on so late, as it's Canada, unfortunately, they do highlights of the highlights, if that makes any sense. Yes, it's actually edited down even into smaller chunks than when it is normally. Usually it's about 1 hour and 6 minutes long if you cut all the adverts out. I know this for a fact. Yes, every race is about 1 hour 6 minutes long as highlights if you cut the adverts out. But this was regionally on about 44 minutes. And a lot of that is to do with the fact that the race is on so long, it's on so late in the evening that the editors just haven't got that amount of time to, knock it down. So it's about 40 minutes long. So I was actually watching it very, very quickly. I mean, I think I went from lap 10 to lap 30 in the blink of an eye. And I was like, wait a minute, what happened to the rest of the laps? So obviously nothing had happened in between them. But anyway, on lap 37, Lewis came over the radio and said, yeah, I am nowhere in this race, mate. He was complaining because he thought he was just doing very, very badly. And then, of course, over the radio, they said, oh, you're doing pretty well considering the damage. So obviously they were just trying to, boister up Lewis and give him a bit more encouragement. And that was it, basically. So on lap 41, the positions were in first place, still George Russell. Second was Piastri at that point, and then Lando Norris was behind in third place. Fourth for Leclerc, fifth for Verstappen, and sixth was Antonelli. And on lap 57, Lawson retired with his power unit apparently not failing, but there was a problem with it, and they wanted to preserve it because I believe that's going into the next race in 2 weeks' time, so they decided to retire the car. On lap 66, then Lando passes Oscar's pastry. Yes. And then, of course, on lap 67, we had the bit that's made me give it a 7 out of 10 for this race. Yes. Lando collides with his own teammate. Yes. We've all been down this road before, haven't we? Ayrton Senna. Alain Prost. Yes. It's not good. David Twat Coulthard and of course Mika Hakkinen. Oh my god, I remember the podium celebrations when Mika was up there and he was giving David dagger eyes. He really was, and he wouldn't talk to him. He would not. He was even for a Finn, he was incandescent with rage, because I don't usually express any emotions, Finnish, but he was incandescent with rage at that time. I mean, they got past it and they're actually good friends, so I believe. But yeah, at that time, oh my god, he was incandescent with rage. And of course, they were both in McLarens as well. Yes, both in McLarens. Yes. But this also isn't the first time, or even the second time, or even the fourth time that this has happened between teammates. And even more special is 2011 in Canada. Let's take a look.
It's a place where there's runoff, so that was fortunate.
And Webber and Hamilton under investigation for that first corner. And will Lewis Hamilton get another drive-through penalty? What do you think?
Well, I think in that case, there's no question if you see him. Oh, McLaren's touch! That is, Lewis Hamilton obviously with suspension damage, puncture. I'd be surprised if he makes it round to back into the pits. But the problem in those conditions is Jenson Button can't see in his mirrors.
I always remember that because I remember Jensen came over the radio and he did that famous line, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" In reference, of course, to Lewis Hamilton, and everybody said, "What was he doing?" Nobody knew. Of course, the conditions were rather slippery then, but still, I mean, that's pretty much in the same place as the incident between Lando Norris and Oscar's pastry. To be honest, Lando was very lucky he didn't. If he'd have just imagine if he'd have taken out Oscar's. Oh my god. If he'd have taken out Oscar as well, that would have been absolutely disastrous. Thankfully, he did all the damage to himself, basically. Not only to the car, but I think he's done a lot of damage to his mental state as well. Because, yeah, I mean, fair play to him. He put his hands up straight away and said, yeah, that was all me. He said to his team, I'm sorry, that was 100% me. And it was 100%. I've no idea what he was doing. There was no opportunity for a pass at that point whatsoever. The same as in 2011. There was no opportunity for a pass. I think just for a moment he just lost his head. I just think he lost his head, went for a gap that wasn't there, unlike Senna back in the day. It just wasn't there. There was no gap there for him to try and get through. And yeah, I think he thought, I could be clever here. I could be clever here. And I understand the mentality. I do understand the mentality. You go for these very late dive bombs, late on the brakes, and 7 out of 10 times it does work. And of course, if he'd have got past, he would have been bathed in glory right now instead of bathed in cement later by Zak Brown and deposited in the nearest car park. Yes. That's probably what's going to happen. Yes, in 2 weeks' time it'll be, oh no, sorry, Lando's not going to be able to race because he's got a bad hand, don't you know? Yes. Yeah. He's got bad feet as well because someone put some concrete shoes on him. Anyway, yes, but that was just, oh my God. But, as I say, I suddenly woke up, I suddenly went, yes, some excitement on lap 67. Yes, 70 laps, of course, right at the end. But, it had been boring up to that point. But yes, well done. Well done, Lando, for giving us some entertainment, which I'm sure will be in the next Netflix series of Drive to Survive or whatever it's called. I'm sure it'll be there. So, well done, Lando. I wonder if Lando gets a little few side checks. That's a joke. Could be true, though. I'm going to say allegedly now. Hello, YouTube lawyers. So, yes, Lando Norris collided with his teammate in a ridiculous move. And that is why the title of this video is, this is why Lando Norris will never be world champion. And, I know I was bigging him up last year, saying, oh, he would be. But he hasn't got that killer mentality, which is what you need. He's not got the Verstappen drive. He hasn't really got the Oscar's pastry drive either, even though Oscar's hasn't, I don't believe, got that sort of killer mentality. He's got a good temperament. He reminds me very much of like the Finnish drivers, like Kimi Räikkönen and Mika Häkkinen. I think he's more sort of in a Mika Häkkinen mold because he's very calm, very collective, whereas Kimi was a little bit more boisterous, obviously. We know from the radio calls, but he seems to be a little bit of a, Mika Häkkinen, really, Oscar's pastry. So, yeah, but it was just, oh my God. I just had my head in my hands when I saw that, and I went, Lando, mate, what are you doing? What are you doing? Unfortunately, once again, that has given Max Verstappen the only opportunity that he needs. Because I've been saying it before, you just give him a sniff, and he'll be up there like a ferret up a drain pipe, and that's exactly what he's done. He's taken points away. Lando got no points at all. Finished in, was it 18th? No, he was last. Well, apart from the two that didn't finish, and you just can't do that. You can't go for the moves like that. You just really can't. And, I mean, I can still understand the mentality, but it's still not on. And this, unfortunately, now is going to give him a setback mentally. It's going to be a knockback for him. And now it could be 2, 3 or 4 races before he gets back on top again. So, for his own well-being, it's not good. More the fact that, he's crashed into his own teammate, which is the fundamental number one thing that the team bosses say to you pretty much before every single race. Go out there and race, lads, but for fuck's sake, don't take your teammate out, because it should be a religion. It's sacrosanct. You do not do it. You do not take your own teammate out. Of course, accidents happen. You do take your teammate out, but you try to avoid it as much as possible. And Zak Brown is going to be beside himself with rage. I'm sure he is, and is deservedly so. Doesn't matter that Lando's going to come back and he's admitted it and he's going to, take all the trouble that's going to go with that. He still made a fundamental mistake, and he should have just... he was right behind Oscar. He was right behind him. He was on for some good points. He should have just stayed there. And he would have got some good points. So I can't understand why he would go for a move like that when the most he would have gained was just one position anyway. He had no chance of catching Max ahead, did he? Or George the Russell. So all he would have gained was one position from Oscar's pastry. And so it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. Anyway, so on lap 67, due to the incident, the safety car came out. Yes. And in actual fact, that was it. The race finished under the safety car. Well, the safety car came in and they all just finished on lap 70. And so that was it. So the final top 10 results for the race was the winner, George of the Russell. Oh my God, he must be beside himself. Yes, must be beside himself. And I've just got one little comment to make, and that is to Toto Wolff. Because as soon as George crossed the line, he had a young lady next to him. I don't know who she was. She had a Mercedes shirt on, so obviously she works for Mercedes. And as soon as he crossed the line, big hug. And I was fine, but I did also say, put her down, Toto, put her down. When you start to get on a bit, you must resist all temptation. All temptation. That's all I'm going to say. So yes, I did enjoy that bit. I must admit, I did enjoy that bit. But yes, there you go. So George of the Russell, who actually took the mickey out of Toto during the cool down lap. If you heard it over the radio, he was actually sort of mimicking Toto. I don't think Toto actually sort of got that that's what he was doing, but yeah, he was sort of, taking the piss a little bit, not too bad. I mean, it is his boss, but just a little bit. So I thought that was quite good. So second place was Verstappen, third was Antonelli, great result for Antonelli, fourth was Oscar's pastry, fifth was Leclerc, sixth was Hamilton. Don't forget, the car was damaged. Yes, that groundhog was stuck underneath it, doing his Flintstones. Come on, I'll make you go a bit faster, Lulu. Bloody hell. And seventh was Fernando Alonso. God praise us all. We still live in a world where Fernando Alonso is scoring points. And Nico Hulkenberg was in eighth place. He scored some points as well. In the slowest car in the field. And ninth was, well, it might be the Alpine now actually. But anyway, ninth was Ocon. And bringing up the rear to have the final World Championship point, it was, of course, Carlos Sainz in the Williams. Yes, congratulations. He got a point. So there you go, everyone. That was my very quick synopsis of the Canadian Grand Prix. Let me know in the comments what you thought. I know what some of you are going to put in the comments before I even say that. I know it's going to be very controversial. Very controversial indeed. Yes. So I'm going to say, put in the comments, do you think he should have gone for that move, or do you think he shouldn't have gone for that move? So there's the juxtaposition there between the two. Yes or no? Do you think he should have done it, or do you think he shouldn't have done it? Because I'd love to hear someone say, yes, I think Lando should have done that move. I'd love to hear someone say that. I don't think that's going to happen, but if... but don't just say it for the sake of saying it. Say it because you believe it. You actually believe it, okay? Say it because you believe it, that, yes, he should have gone for that move. I personally, I don't think no. But if anyone's out there, tell me in the comments. You know how I love the YouTube comments. Yes, absolutely fantastic. So that was a very boring Canadian Grand Prix, which had a good climax at the end. Yes, it was great. It was really great. And I'm glad it happened, because I was nodding off. And it's only the highlights, so I was still nodding off. About lap 30, I was going I literally, because I do write down notes now because I can't remember things. And I was literally holding my notes. I had my pen in my hand, and I was literally going... And then lap 67 happened, and I was fully awake by then, I'll tell you. Fully awake by then. Fantastic. So that's the end of Canada. We've now got a 2-week break before the next Grand Prix, which is good. So now you know what's going to happen now, don't you? Yes, it's time to go for those all-important points, positions so far now in the championship. So here we go. Wheel F1's going to be well happy in the comments over this. So, still in the lead at the moment, it's Oscar's Pastry with 198 points. He's almost at the 200 mark, which is pretty decent, I have to say. Usually the drivers score about, well, Maxi's been scoring just over the 500 mark for a whole season. So he's doing very well indeed. In second place, just look at his little face, everyone. His face just says it all, doesn't it? It really does. He's saying, I'm sorry I'm useless. Well, he's not useless, is he? Because he's in second place in the World Championship with 176 points. So you cannot call Lando Norris useless. He just makes mistakes. Let's put it that way. In third place at the moment, it's Max Verstappen with 155, as I said, because of Lando crashing out. Now Max is very much catching Lando Norris. If he doesn't watch out, I think Verstappen could end up second in this championship, you know. I really do. If Lando can't get it together in the next few rounds, I think Max Verstappen may overtake Lando towards the 3/4 mark of the season, and then he'll probably finish second. I don't think he's going to beat Oscar's Pastry. But saying that, 155.198 is still not a huge margin. Max Verstappen's had far greater gaps than that at this point in the season. So it's not a huge margin, so anything is possible. In fourth position, after his win at the Grand Prix at Canada, it's George and Russell. Well done with 136 points. In fifth position, it's Charles Leclerc with 104 World Championship points. And in sixth place, still under the 100-point mark, unfortunately, it's Lewis Hamilton. Yes. Well done, Lulu. And then in seventh place at the moment with 63 points, it's Kimi Antonelli. Well done to Kimi Antonelli. Great result, considering he's just 18 years old. The pressure must be immense at the moment. And now I'm going to make myself smaller because you can't see that properly. There you go. And now in eighth position, we've got Alexander Albon with 42 points. He's doing really well in that Williams. He doesn't seem to be too happy with his team, though. He really doesn't. He had a radio call saying, I wish you guys would listen to me. That's not good. That's not good. We're getting into the Lewis Hamilton radio territory here for Alexander Albon. And yeah, I have a little bit of concerns about that. Anyway, ninth position at the moment is Esti Besti. He only got 22 points, though, but he's in ninth place. And in 10th position, it's Isaac Hajar with 21 points in, of course, the Racing Bulls. And I have to say, he's doing pretty decent. Not brilliant, but pretty decent. In 11th place, it's super sub Nico Hulkenberg with 20 points. How old is Hulkenberg now? I mean, Jesus Christ. He's got to be at least, 72? Got to be 72. He's been in Formula 1 for a very long time. He was a super sub for a few years as well. It's just, wow. So he's in 11th place. And now in 12th position, it is Lance Stroll with 14 points still because he didn't score any more. Yes, his hand has been recovered. Yes. His wanker's cramp is all better now. 14 points for Lance Stroll. 13th position for Carlos Sainz. Yes, the smooth operator is not being a very smooth operator in that Williams. He's being absolutely lambasted by his teammate Albon. Look at that, 42 of 13. That's just, I mean, I would personally rate Carlos Sainz as a better driver than Albon. Definitely. That's how I'd rate him, as a better driver than, but he's just not proving that in the Williams. I know, I'm still getting used to the car. Yeah, we can all say that until the cows come home. But, at the end of the day, your point situation and where you are in the championship is basically what you have to be judged on. And you got 13 points and you're in 13th place. Yes. In 14th place, it's Pierre Gasly in the very, very troubled Alpine. Oh my God. If they're still on the grid next year, I should be very, very surprised. Yes, 11 points for Gasly. In 15th position, it's Yuki Tsunoda with 10 points. Yes, and if Yuki Tsunoda's still in F1 next year, I should be very much surprised because, yeah, he's doing okay, but he's just not doing brilliantly either. But who can in that second Red Bull? Who can? But with Max being up there, second and thirds, being that far down after races, I can't remember where he finished. He wasn't in the top 10, was he? No. It's just not good. Just not good. 16th for Fernando Alonso. Grandpa has got 8 points, everyone, in the Aston Martin. Well done, Gramps. Well done indeed. Yes, it's great to see you not right at the bottom, because I didn't want to see you down there. It was just, no. And in 17th position, it's Oliver Behrman with 6 points in the Haas. Liam Lawson is in 18th place in the Racing Bulls. And now it's time for the real losers. Gabriel Bortoleto, the Brazilian in the Kick-Sauber, has got no points. No points. And his performance level, it's not blowing me up. It's not blowing up my skirt. It really isn't. I don't know what's going to happen with Bortoleto next year. Don't forget, of course, it will be Audi. So they may come in and say, nope, we want some new people. We'll find out later in the season, of course. And Franco Colapinto, I think, is this his 4th out of 5 races? I don't know. I've lost count now. But if so, he's got one more race to prove himself, and he's got 0 points. And really didn't shine much in that race, even though I probably didn't see because it was the highlights of the highlights. But yeah, didn't do it for me. And of course, Jack Doohan is no longer in Formula One, apart from the fact that he is a reserve driver. So that is the roundup for the drivers at the moment. It's still a McLaren lockout. They're still on target to win the championship, but they've got to be careful of Max, because he's like a pit bull, just waiting to pounce. And if Lando doesn't get his act together, he is going to go zip into there, and Lando's going to go zip into there. It's going to happen. I can see it happening. Oscar, I think, is okay. He's okay. I think he's okay. But anyway. So there you go. That was the race results of the Grand Prix, and the drivers' results, of course, as well. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. You've been awesome as always. And once again, I will catch you in the next video.